Sit-ups. I am not a fan of sit-ups. They can hurt your back. Some people are hugely intolerant to the forward bending stress that places a great deal of pressure on the discs in the spine, in the neck and in the lower back especially. And as a tool for developing core stability, they have questionable benefit. But I appreciate people want to develop a flat abdomen. They want to have that six-pack effect, and so they think a sit-up is what's going to provide that. So I just want to show you a couple of alternatives that are much, much safer for your spine. And this is particularly important if you're recovering from a lower back episode, particularly if you're recovering from a disc-related pain in your lower back. So the first thing I'm going to show you is a plank. That's something that everybody is likely to be familiar with. And so let's just talk about how that looks. Generally speaking, if you've had a disc problem, this lying on your front position is quite a nice rest position. A little bit of extension in your lower back drops the disc pressure and is generally pretty well tolerated. So as long as you can do this, as long as you can be comfortable in this position, this is your starting point. Elbows underneath your shoulders, and the first thing I would do is to push the floor away. So you're setting a nice stable shoulder position. Head just comes up away from the floor, face comes away from the floor, and then by the time you've brought your hips into line between your shoulders and your knees, the head is in a pretty neutral position on the spinal column, and you would hold that position for a period of time. 10 seconds is good. Upwards of that you can hold really for as long as you like. You can go for a world record if you want to. Things to avoid: pushing the bottom too far up, rounding too far in the thoracic spine, in the shoulder girdle. You just really want to set, come up into neutral and hold that position. So when I come out of that position, I tend to just drop my knees, and then I can come back up onto my tall kneeling position, and again entirely neutral as far as my spine is concerned. I haven't really changed the shape of it through the whole process. A little bit of extension here, up into neutral, and from here still spine in neutral onto my knees, and I'm pushing back into this position. Other things that you can use: this is an ab roller, so a little wheel or set of wheels with handles either side, and you roll away, and as I get further and further away, the thing that's stopping me collapsing is the tension through the front line of my body. As with a lot of exercise which involves having a load in your hands, I can add stability to my shoulders by slightly feeling like I'm bending this in half, and you can see what happens to my shoulders when I do that. My shoulders drop away from my ear, and what I'm doing is activating muscle in my upper back, pulling my shoulder blades down into a stable position. Essentially, I'm anchoring my shoulder girdle onto my pelvis and adding to my core tension, stability. So the shape is still almost like a hip hinge, and I can go all the way out and back. It's harder work than a plank. But you know, I can go out only a little bit, so I'm adding a little bit of tension and coming back, or I can go all the way out and back, where there's a lot more work being done. So that's another alternative. A little bit more compressive load on the back. It's a more difficult exercise. I could do a similar thing with a foam roller. I can just roll out on that and roll back in. but you can see the shape of my spine is pretty much the same throughout the movement. Rolling out, rolling back. I'm just extending and flexing my hips. One final exercise, using a gym ball, call it stirring the pot. So I'm going to come into my plank position on the ball, and what I'm going to do is put very small circles into the ball. And for me, this lights up my abdominal muscles, my frontline muscles, almost more than anything else. And because it's an unstable surface, I'm going to be getting more activation of my other abdominal muscles, the other 3 sets or groups of abdominal muscle that wrap around into my lower back muscles and connective tissues, really adding core stability. So this is really, for me, it's the daddy of frontline abdominal exercise, because it not only will work those rectus muscles, but it will, those six-pack muscles, it'll work the rest of your core as well. And also I get to keep my shoulder stability with, again, that sort of anti-shrug, pulling my shoulders down, doing little circles like so. And again, I can just do this for time. So I hope that gives you some variation on the theme of sit-ups. Not fond of sit-ups. They're a poor way of certainly engaging your core, and there's higher risk with that exercise in potentially damaging tissues in your spine. So please, comments down below. Subscribe to the channel. It's free, costs you nothing, helps other people to find these videos and get help from them. So please, that would be a big favor that you're doing me by subscribing to the channel. I'll see you in the next video.